Garena Free Fire, the 15 best characters, ranked. Number 15. Zone's Stream Encounter. Shields and protections remain an active component in Garena Free Fire gameplay, with various characters offering numerous defensive approaches designed specifically to prolong their survival. For players who want to gain an edge against others who rely heavily on defense, Zone is definitely the operative for them. Key to her skill set is her character ability, Stream Encounter. Thanks to this skill, not only does Zone get an extra 120 horsepower temporarily, but she also deals extra damage to shields and glue walls when used effectively. And other games like Fortnite can spell disaster for building focused players. Zone can tear through enemy defenses quickly and ensure the enemy cannot fall back to a more advantageous position. Number 14. Maximum Gluttony. As with other Battle Royale games, Garena Free Fire gives players access to a wide variety of consumables such as med kits and mushrooms to give them a temporary advantage in combat. Thing is, players can't exactly consume these items while moving around, leaving them vulnerable to attack if they eat these foods in the wrong places. Thanks to Maxim, players can greatly reduce this risk. With Maxim, players get access to his character ability named Gluttony. As the name implies, this ability gives players an advantage when it comes to eating their consumables. When triggered, Gluttony grants as much as a 10% reduction in the time it takes to use med kits and other consumables, giving players an edge when it comes to recovery. In the thick of combat, that 10% can be the decisive advantage players need to secure victory, something that Vampire, the Masquerade bloodline, makes use of with health-restoring vampiric bites that also leave players vulnerable during the feeding process. Number 13. Shimada Hire 2 Bushido. Intense combat is often what it takes to define a Battle Royale player's strategy. Are they more prone to secure safety by retreating, or do they take the risk and push for the extreme offense? In the case of Shimada Hayato and Garena Free Fire gameplay, his gameplay approach encourages players to go for extraordinary measures, giving players the risk of being killed earlier in exchange for stronger offense, something similar to the aggression-oriented Shadow Royale of Apex Legends. With Bushido, players controlling Hire 2 get a whopping 10% decrease in HP. In exchange, players can get as much as a 9.5% boost in armor penetration, practically encouraging players to go on the offensive whenever encountering enemies in combat. His character is perfect for players in love with aggressive approaches. Number 12. Homer Senses Shockwave. Compared to other characters featured in Garena Free Fire gameplay, Homer has a more sophisticated look compared to the more combat-friendly units. And this seems deliberate, as his techie appearance is linked to his leadership in one of the most prominent tech gangs in Greaser. When used in the brutal battle royale of the shooter, Homer Senses Shockwave can turn the tide against a tough opponent, especially against players used both brutal gameplay off Bloodshaw. When used, Senses Shockwave releases a drone to the nearest opponent in front of Homer. Upon reaching the target, the drone releases a shockwave that not only deals 25 damage to the opponent, but also inflicts debuffs. The target hit by Senses Shockwave suffers a 35% reduction in firing speed and a 60% reduced movement speed for 5 seconds. Despite its short duration, 5 seconds can be a difference between a team surviving or dying in an encounter. Number 11. Dimitri Healing Heartbeat. Through Healing Heartbeat, Dimitri can create a 3.5 meter healing zone that affects his allies. Not only does this help Dimitri's team heal for 3 horsepower per second, but downed users can use self-recover to get up instead of seeking assistance. These benefits can make Dimitri the perfect agent for a player new to Battle Royales. Number 10. Wukong Camouflage. Sometimes, players in Battle Royale games need to play dirty to win a match, and a lot of times, this means catching enemies by surprise and killing them before they get to react. This can come in a lot of forms, such as sniping or even ambushing, but thanks to Wukong, Free Fire players can get wild with another idea, disguises. Thanks to his camouflage ability, Wukong can transform into a bush for 10 seconds, but has the drawback of a 40% movement speed reduction. Not only that, but this also has a 250 second cooldown at the base level that Wukong can reset for each kill. While 10 seconds seem a bit too short, players who love their stealth games players know this is more than enough time to creep up on an unsuspecting team and introduce them to the business end of their weapons. Number 9. Alvaro Art of Demolition. Players of any Battle Royale game know that a throwable explosive can dish out enough damage to wipe out teams when used properly, and Dalvaro and his love for explosivicis are match made in heaven for those players. Serving as the game's demolitions expert, Alvaro has the right tech to make sure that the players' explosives are deadlier than ever. He does this through his Art of Demolition, which not only gives explosives a 10% damage boost, but also gives their explosive range a 7% boost. This increases the potency of grenades due to the ability to affect a greater area, making more offensive plays viable for aggressive teams. Number 8. Skylar Riptide Rhythm. Glue walls are an incredible source of defense in Free Fire, especially since this non-damaging explosive creates a wall that gives cover against bullets. While this can be annoying to players that have to cross glue walls to kill enemies, CEO Superstar Skylar Shasas the right tools to eliminate. The competition, courtesy of his Riptide Rhythm, Skylar can unleash a sonic blast that destroys up to 5 glue walls within 50 meters. Not only that, but Skylar also gets 4 horsepower back whenever he deploys a glue wall in the game, incentivizing more defensive builds. Number 7. CLU. Aggressive players know that missing an enemy is an invitation to be taken down in a fierce counterattack, so players on the offense are always on the prowl for moving opponents. Clue is the character suited for the job, as this private detective has all the means to track enemies moving around her. She does this courtesy of Tetrising Step ability, which gives her a 50-meter radius that pings all opponents who aren't in squat or prone positions. This is nifty for an aggressive team, as CLU can pinpoint where enemies are roaming around waiting to be ambushed. She can also help augment the abilities of other recon agents by securing targets with her unique parameters. Number 6. Joda Sustained Raid. Practically speaking, players don't necessarily need to be careful in a battle royale if all their opponents are dead, but this is usually a mentality reserved either for sweaty players or extremely aggressive ones. Thankfully, Joda can help make this playstyle extremely viable since his gameplay. Essential Iancarus Mayhem over Caution. It's thanks to his Sustained Raid that all of this is possible, as it allows him to gain a small amount of HP whenever he shoots down an enemy. Not only does this incentivize proper aim, but it also encourages extremely risky yet rewarding and fun gameplay strategies such as third partying, an ongoing firefight, or outright ambushing FOs. After all, gaining health after shooting an enemy is an instant reward. Number 5. Captain Booyah or K-Master of All. It's the concept of EPs that makes Free Fire wildly different from other battle royales, especially since this allows players to use Epto heal HP without needing recovery items provided they earn enough EP. That is, not a lot of characters can augment the way EP works in the game, except for Captain Booyah, whose abilities maximize EP to HP recovery. Thanks to his Master of All ability, his EP total gets 50 more points, allowing him to raise his EP to as much as 250. Not only that, but he can also switch between 2 modes to boost EP potency in a variety of ways. Under his GIU Jitsu mode, all allies within 6 meters get a 500% boost in EP conversion rate. Meanwhile, he can heal as much as 3 EP per second through psychological mode, allowing him to constantly stock up on EP. Number 4. DJ Alok Drop the Beat. Thanks to this Drop the Beat, DJ Alok summons a 5-meter zone that not only heals players and allies inside for 5 HP or second for 10 seconds, but also gives them a 15% movement speed boost. Not only that, but its short cooldown time means DJ Alok can become an incredible support character in the game. Players can have more aggressive plays knowing that DJ Alok can be there to heal them if need be. Number 3. Chrono Time Turner. In a fierce battle royale like Free Fire, preserving one's life is perhaps more important than damage. And while having a lot of healing components can make life much easier, it's still evidently more convenient if players didn't take any damage at all. This is where Chrono steps in. Time-traveling bounty hunter, Chrono aims to use his skills to help the weak and the powerless. Combat-wise, Chrono relies on the Team Turner. Thysis a shield that can not only defend against up to 600 damage, but also gives Chrono a 10% movement speed boost. This makes Chrono a must-have character, as he's one of the rare characters to be able to protect not just himself, but his entire team. From damage, Number 2. A 1-2 for thrill of battle. It's one thing for players to know that EP can slowly be used to replenish HP in critical moments, and another to actually find it useful for their needs. Players with a full stock of EP might not end up using it if they target too much damagetto quickly, but thankfully, a 1-2-4 can circumvent this inconvenience with her nifty ability. This assassin has Thethril of Battle ability that can instantly convert 25 EP into HP, although this comes with a 90-second cooldown. Not only that, but this initial condition improves as soon as the ability is upgraded, making the instant conversion much more potent. This is an extremely useful ability to have, especially since a 1-2-4 can conveniently rely on an instant heal in a heated firefight. Number 1. Kelly Dash. Sometimes the best abilities in a game come from characters that offer a lot of practical uses for said ability, and Kelly is exactly this. Being the game's speedster, Kelly relies on her quick wit and athletic build to outrun and outpace her opponents, an ability that is always critical in a battle royale in which Trubel could be anywhere. This translates into gameplay through her dash, which simply gives her a faster sprinting speed. Despite the mundane nature of this ability, dash does have a lot of uses. Aside from being able to enter and exit firefights faster, the faster sprinting speed allows players to make more distance-based decisions in fights. This includes sprinting towards a drop or rushing into the danger zone to get a coveted item. Thanks for watching. If you're a fan of such information, then subscribe to my channel for daily updates.